It always starts the same. A cute Disney girl, a bubbly Nickelodeon star, innocent, relatable, family friendly, until one day, she's half naked on stage, singing about sex, and calling it empowerment. It happens fast, from girl next door to pop diva, usually before she turns 21. The media says it's growth, the label says it's liberation, fans call it authentic, but it's none of those things. It's marketing, it's manipulation, it's the pop music industry, a billion-dollar system built to turn childhood innocence into sexual currency. From Britney to Christina, from Miley to Selena, from Ariana to Olivia and Sabrina. Every generation, the same script, a new face, the same factory, a new sound, the same seduction. They sell you rebellion while pushing the same product. They call it feminism while stripping them down for views. They preach empowerment while profiting from exploitation. And the most brutal part? You're told it's their choice, but it's a choice sold to them by the biggest label on earth. This is how the pop music industry perfected the art of rebranding innocence into hypersexual entertainment again and again and again. But how did we get here? It didn't just start a few years ago, but decades ago when labels started discovering the perfect formula. Start with innocence, then corrupt it, and profit from the fall. The late 90s gave us the prototype, Britney Spears. She started from innocence on Disney in the Mickey Mouse Club, but then at 16 years old, dressed in a schoolgirl uniform, singing about being hit one more time, it wasn't subtle and it wasn't accidental. Critics called it inappropriate. Britney defended it. I'm not some little girl anymore. I'm growing up, and this is how I want to express myself. The result? One of the best-selling singles of all time. Over 10 million copies sold. Controversy made her famous. Sexualization made her historic. Then came Christina Aguilera. Same Mickey Mouse Club roots, same age, same innocent fan base, but by 21, she'd gone full cage dancing sexy with Dirty. And when questioned, she echoed Britney. It was me finally expressing myself, finally getting to be me. And just like Britney, it worked. These responses added to the geniusness of the system being developed. By letting the artists justify their transformation, the industry kept both markets alive. The kids who grew up with them stayed loyal, and the adults came running for the new image. Innocence became the bait, hypersexualization became the product, and empowerment became the marketing shield. This wasn't rebellion, it was manufacturing. And to fuel the fire, the media created rivalry. Britney, the wholesome girl next door, Christina, the rebellious edgy one. A battle of innocence versus rebellion, both engineered, both profitable. And it worked so well, the blueprint became a generational product line. The blueprint didn't stop with Britney and Christina. By the mid-2000s, a new generation of Disney stars emerged, and the formula evolved. Miley Cyrus was the first breakout of the rebranded Disney era, America's sweetheart, the wholesome, quirky Hannah Montana, until her Disney contract expired, and Sony's Hollywood Records took over. At 20, Miley unleashed her rebellious era, twerking on national television, swinging naked on wrecking balls. Her Bangers album sold 270,000 copies in its first week, straight to #1. Critics called it vulgar, fans called it freedom. Miley fired back against the backlash, calling it authentic self-expression. But beneath the shock, it was marketing, manufactured controversy built to break the internet and flood the charts. Then came Selena Gomez, fresh off Wizards of Waverly Place, the girl next door prototype. Under Hollywood Records, she stayed safe, wholesome, relatable, but the industry knew controversy paid. And where Miley left off, Selena followed, just in a different way. Not through shock performances, but through drama. Selena and Miley both tangled with Nick Jonas. Subtly, it was Team Miley versus Team Selena. Fan edits, YouTube wars, viral gossip. Before TikTok even existed, the rivalry fueled sales, boosted engagement, and kept both girls at the top. Then, in 2014, Selena jumped ship, leaving Sony for UMG, and just like clockwork, the rebrand arrived again. Revival marked the shift. Seductive lyrics, revealing visuals, sensual dance routines. Not that innocent anymore. First week sales soared past 100,000. Multiple Billboard Top 10s hits followed. Selena, once Disney's sweetheart, was now a chart-topping sex symbol. And when asked about the shift, she echoed the same script. I've been more comfortable with my sexuality, with who I am, with my body, and I feel really proud of that. Sound familiar? It should. The same defense, the same talking points, the same justification. echoing Britney and Christina 2 decades earlier. Coincidence? Hardly. It was a system, upgraded, streamlined, and more profitable than ever. But Selena wasn't UMG's first move. Behind the scenes, Scooter Braun had already delivered her golden ticket, a Nickelodeon star with Broadway-trained vocals, Ariana Grande, and she was ready to step into the pipeline. If Britney and Christina were the prototype, and Miley and Selena proved the system worked, Ariana became the turning point. She wasn't from Disney, but Nickelodeon, playing the bubbly, childlike Cat Valentine on Victorious, innocent, harmless, and safe. But when she turned 21, the mask dropped. Out came latex outfits, thigh-high boots, and sexually charged lyrics, delivered in the same soft, childlike voice that made her famous. Critics raised eyebrows, fans shrugged it off, and Ariana? She echoed the same line used for decades. "This is the most empowered I've ever felt." Her sales skyrocketed. Dangerous Woman shattered records. Her fan base ballooned globally. But behind the empowerment rhetoric, the same pattern repeated. Ariana was UMG's first megastar built from the innocent to sexualization blueprint. And Geffen Records, once dormant, was resurrected for one reason: to mass-produce hyper-sexualized pop stars for the TikTok age. The formula didn't change. Target young Disney girls, scrub the innocents, repackage them as provocative viral icons. Only now, the process is faster, cleaner, and ruthlessly more profitable. Sabrina Carpenter was the first to be processed through this new machine. She was Disney's golden girl in Girl Meets World. Blonde hair, bubbly smile, harmless lyrics, manufactured to be every parent's dream. Then, Disney let her go, and UMG swooped in. And like clockwork, the transformation began. By 2021, Sabrina was quietly shifting to Geffen Records under UMG. Within 2 years, the bubblegum princess was gone. Her breakout, Espresso, hypersexual lyrics, pouty, sultry choreography, crop tops, thigh highs, and lyrics about feeling sexy in your skin. The same girl next door. Now, a full-blown TikTok thirst trap. And it worked. Flawlessly. Espresso became Sabrina's first Billboard Top 5 hit, her biggest streaming success ever. But the real product wasn't the song, it was the algorithm. TikTok exploded with the Espresso Riff Challenge, teenagers mimicking the provocative dances, pushing it past 1.3 billion views in weeks. TikTok didn't just fuel the pipeline, it supercharged it. What once took years now takes months. Every stream, every trend, every viral dance, carefully manufactured, perfectly engineered, relentlessly pushed by the machine. Then came Olivia Rodrigo, Disney's next pop prototype, plucked straight from High School Musical the series. Her debut, Sour, sold teenage heartbreak, insecurity, betrayal, teenage chaos, wrapped in angsty ballads. It worked. But it wasn't enough. UMG had bigger plans. The follow-up? Guts? A hard pivot. The heartbreak stayed, but the lyrics turned sharper, more explicit, more reckless, more self-destructive. The visuals? No more innocent heartbreak. Now it was heavy eyeliner, vampire fangs, thigh-high boots. Her grown-up era paraded across Vogue with headlines celebrating her sexual awakening. At 20, Olivia wasn't a heartbroken teen anymore. She was crowned the fastest rising pop star on earth. 17 billion streams, record-breaking tours, endless viral moments, all dressed up as empowerment, all repackaged to dominate algorithms, all part of the next phase of the pipeline. But it wasn't just sex appeal driving the machine. UMG had a second weapon: manufactured drama. Same formula, new faces. Another love triangle, recycled from the Selena, Miley, Nick Jonas playbook. This time, Olivia Rodrigo, Sabrina Carpenter, Joshua Bassett. Olivia's heartbreak muse, suddenly Sabrina's rumored boyfriend, and the internet exploded. Sour versus sweet, good girl versus bad girl, heartbroken angel versus seductive vixen. TikTok turned it into war. Every Instagram post was dissected. UMG didn't flinch, they smiled. Streams soared, views skyrocketed, profits multiplied. It wasn't rebellion, it was choreography. A digital soap opera, scripted by executives, consumed by teenagers. And the stars? They played their roles flawlessly. Olivia stayed quiet. Sabrina leaned into the drama, playing coy about her supposed villain arc. No direct accusations, no real denials, just enough smoke to keep the fire raging. While the audiences pick sides, UMG cashed both checks. Guts broke streaming records, Espresso charted globally, and then, the boldest marketing stunt yet, Olivia handed out condoms at concerts to fans too young to drink, too young to vote, framed as empowerment, sold as activism, but underneath, pure shock value converted into dollars. And the fans cheered, because when you've been programmed since childhood, you'll defend anything. Meanwhile, Sabrina's latest rollout followed the same exact blueprint. Her Man's Best Friend album, a submissive pose on a cover, on her knees, hair pulled, clinging to a faceless man. Every video choreographed for virality. Every lyric toeing the line between catchy pop and softcore fetish. And behind it all, the same stylist who rebranded Ariana Grande, now rebranding Sabrina. The same producers behind every empowered anthem, writing the script again. Different girl, same script. Innocence erased, sexuality sold, profits guaranteed. And behind it all, contracts, strings attached to every note, every outfit, every post. UMG's grip isn't loose, it's ironclad. Multi-year, multi-album deals, locking these girls into pipelines where nothing happens by accident. Everything, from music to image to social media, filtered through corporate approval. Olivia found out the hard way. She wanted Deja Vu to follow a driver's license. The label said no. Not seductive enough, not marketable enough. They delayed it, rewrote the narrative, and by the time it dropped, the story wasn't teenage heartbreak anymore. It was their sexual awakening, exactly as scripted. And the final insult? They don't own their songs, their albums, not even their identity. The labels own the masters, the catalogs. The label profits from every stream, every viral dance, every fake empowerment headline. They might look rich, adored, successful, but behind the curtain, the label pulls every string, controls the image, dictates the moves, collects the money. They recruit them young, build them up in innocence, strip them down for profit, and sell it all back as empowerment. It's not a label anymore, it's a billion-dollar pimp operation. The faces change, the platforms evolve, but the game never does. And the label always wins. But UMG doesn't operate in isolation. They have a powerful accomplice, the media. Every time a new grown-up era drops, every time a Disney girl gets hypersexualized, the media marches in lockstep. Billboard celebrates it as female empowerment. Vogue frames it as authentic self-expression. Rolling Stone packages it as owning their sexuality. The script never changes. Criticism gets silenced. Questions get labeled misogynistic. Pointing out the obvious industry exploitation, you're called a hater, an enemy of feminism. Public opinion gets weaponized, not against the billion-dollar machine, but against anyone who dares question it. It's a system built on manufactured rebellion and manufactured consent. The labels cash in, the media applauds, the fans defend it. When the artists are paraded as feminist icons, even as they're stripped of their agency behind closed doors. And the human cost? Buried, forgotten, ignored. Britney Spears, the original test subject, controlled and abused for over a decade. Her breakdown milked for profit, trapped in a conservatorship. Miley Cyrus later admitted Bangers wasn't rebellion, but market manipulation dressed up as freedom. Ariana Grande, her image twisted from youthful pop icon to a contradiction. Infantilized one moment, hypersexualized the next, trapped in a never-ending brand identity crisis. Selena Gomez, years later, openly admitting her over-sexualized era left her feeling uncomfortable and exploited. All four, publicly broken, heartbroken, disillusioned, still fighting for real autonomy. The cycle doesn't empower, the cycle leaves scars, long after the record stops selling. This isn't empowerment, it's corporate exploitation, dressed up in feminist slogans, a pop culture scam, turning innocence into sexualization, destruction into profit, and calling it liberation. And for decades, we've swallowed it whole. It's been right in front of us the entire time, generation after generation. The same pipeline, from Mickey Mouse Club to Disney Channel to Nickelodeon, from wholesome to hypersexual, from teen idol to adult product. Every era has its faces. Britney and Christina, Selena and Miley, Ariana and now, Olivia and Sabrina. Different names, same outcome, same transformation, same lies dressed up as liberation, same billion-dollar profits, flowing back to the same label. And the next generation? Already in motion. Another girl next door, another innocent smile, already being groomed for the pipeline. The system doesn't change. It evolves. TikTok instead of radio, viral dances instead of mall tours. But the blueprint? Always the same. Because this was never about growth, never about empowerment, never about freedom. It's always been about control. $1 billion machine, scouting innocence, corrupting it, and selling it back under the banner of choice. So the question isn't who's next, it's how many more times will we be fooled?